Okay, I'm gonna take a stab here and say that you might be interested in making your first $10,000 with crypto, or even better than making 10 grand, what if you could make $5,000 monthly passive income with zero ongoing effort? I'll put that little asterisk there because there is effort up front. These are the sorts of threads that I've been seeing around Twitter. I've done some investigating on my own and I want to investigate them with you to see if they're real or plausible. I'll give you a little tip. If you were early enough on some of these projects in the last bull run, DePIN is a big one. It was a move to earn project where you could make $5,000 a month by going for runs or for walks. The reality was that the token inflated so much that people were making $50,000 for going for a run every day for a month. Now, they had to get out in time before the token absolutely crashed, otherwise they paid nothing for their efforts. But there is a lot of validity to some of these threads, which we're going to be exploring together. The one I've liked the most is actually by 0xFinish over here on X or Twitter, and he says, earning $200 a day by just being online is not a dream, not anymore, thanks to DePIN. DePIN is decentralized physical infrastructure network. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. And then he says it's the simplest way to achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom, maybe not with 5K a month, but we're understanding that you can get money coming in. And this is a thread on how to generate it with zero effort. He's got a Binance transaction history here with 10,000 USD from Hivemapper. These are the apps that are in this thread. There's a few others which we'll go through. Grass Network and Hivemapper. I just want to give you a high-level conceptual overview of what DePIN is and why you could possibly just sit at home and do nothing and make potentially $5,000 a month. He says, many think that DePIN and RWA is real-world assets that can get tokenized, like the video we went through yesterday where you take a house and you break that house into many tokens on the cryptocurrency on a blockchain, and then people can own a certain percentage of that pool of cryptocurrency, and that will represent the portion that they own in that house. So tokenizing a real world asset. But according to Finish, they're not the same thing. And no, they're not the same thing. On DePIN, everyone can sell their resources for money, unlike real world assets, where only large companies can influence the processes. So DePIN, he's saying, is for the little guys, where RWA are for people who can afford things like houses. Because if you look at this picture that he's tweeted, he says that you can sell your own data, such as your heart rate, light, motion, climate, location. There's a few more we'll go through together, into whoever that is valuable for. And we don't get too deep into that, but I have I've conjured this up for you, way to describe what's going on. This is Uber. You know what Uber is. It's the decentralized version of taxis. So taxis used to travel all around the city and hopefully someone would raise their hand and yell at them. And when they did, they'd pull over and take them to where they want to go. One company, well, many companies, but big companies ran the taxis, and then they hired the drivers to drive for them. And then what disrupted them was Uber, a decentralized version that relied on technology, would lent more into technology, and therefore you could request a ride from any place at any time. You could choose your air conditioning setting. And who got paid? Well, you could be an Uber driver. And we decentralized it and we made it peer-to-peer more than a big company. Although these Web 2 companies such as Uber or Airbnb is the next one I'm about to show you, still do rely on a big centralized company like Airbnb, which this decentralized hotel rooms. Before Airbnb, you had to book through a website or a travel booking agent, and they would set you up with the right hotel. Now you can choose for yourself, or if you're on the other side of things, you might have a spare room which you can lease out for maybe $5,000 a month. That might be a bit high, but maybe you have a spare house that you can lease out for $5,000 a month. This is sort of what we're getting into with DePIN. Is instead of houses or instead of cars, here's the third example I've got. This is Turo or Churro, depending on where you're from and how you want to pronounce that T. But essentially, you can find a car to rent from someone in your city who either has a spare car or wants to rent that car out for money. I'm actually renting a car out through Churro at the moment. But once again, they're decentralizing the service or the problem and the need in the economy. And who is profiting? Well, the people who are providing the assets, such as the data, that other people find valuable. That is the opportunity here, but this is just in the digital world. So let's keep reading on to see exactly what sort of services or information or data that you could be providing the world that they'll pay you $5,000 a month for. So Finish wrote that each of his threads contains 6 years of experience, as we're about to learn, and a 6-figure net worth, which is a little bit weird, because it looks like he has a 7-figure net worth according to this screenshot. So what's going on there? Finish. Anyway, let's pretend that isn't a thing and get into the project, starting with this one. This one was very intriguing. It's called Grass. Now, Finish says that he can earn up to $250 a month, that'd be US, without any costs. Why? Because GetGrass is a layer 2 solution on Solana that sells your unused internet to giant corporations. So just like you could sell your driving services or your spare room services or your car services, loaning out that card for someone else to use, you here can sell your unused internet because according to Grass, most people may pay for 1 terabyte of data a month and only use 100 gigabyte, and therefore you can sell that extra bandwidth to companies who want to use that processing power. Now, if you come over to the Grass website, you can see they got a cool dashboard where you see how much of your bandwidth is actually getting used day to day, and then how many points that will give you. What is it called? Grass points or something up here. Now, these are not tokens yet. We're going to get into the tokens of it in a second, exactly how much you can earn, if $250 is right or not. But you can see they say they have 1.8 million plus users. They're available on Solana and Google Chrome. I believe this is the Solana phone, and coming to App Store and the Play Store, meaning you can use your phone to do it. So they look like a pretty solid project, and their real selling point, and again, you want to come in here, they have a frequently asked questions and you can read exactly what's going on before you hand over your data or your internet. They say that your data is going to be used to power AI models. So they're going to troll the internet with your data and consume content and then feed that into the AI models. That's what we were talking about in this channel for a while now, that data is the new oil, and the only way to access this data is you need bandwidth to actually bring it in. And apparently that is what Grass is paying you for. So back to our thread. Finish says you go to the registration page. You can use his code if you want. Download their web extension through their website, so you can add the Chrome extension, which is how they're going to access your internet, and then start earning points. But like we said, how do you know how much money you're getting paid? So he says that he can earn up to $270 a month, but how does he calculate that if there's no token? Well, he is looking at the pre-market on Whales Market to see what Grass is trading at. And you can see it is trading at 0.003. You can farm up to 3,000 points per day. Now, this is where things get patchy. That might be the maximum you can farm, but what if your data doesn't actually get used? They're not going to be paying you for it. So I'm not going to go through this whole process and farm out my data, but you can investigate for yourself. But that is a potential downfall of this, is maybe they don't need all of your data, which means if you can do 3,000 points at 3 cents, there's $9 a day, $270 a month, which is not going to be life-changing amount of money, but if it's free and they use your internet when you're not using it, doesn't slow down, and they're not trying to steal any data, which go and investigate that for yourself before you sign up. It could be an extra $3,000 a year US. So depending on where you live, that'd be $5,000 Australian a year. That could pay off very well. And remember, something like Step and this token could just get crazy inflated in a bull market, and it could legit 10x. And now your $9 a day becomes $90 a day. It is possible. But apparently there's a little bit more skepticism for this next product, or project. Finish says that you can earn up to $100 a month without spending any costs or time by running a Nodle. So if we go across to the Nodle website, you can see Nodle say, the Nodle network connects the world by using smartphones as nodes to create a digital trust network for social good. Anyone with a smartphone, so you don't even need a computer and internet anymore, can join the Nodle network today. They've got some interesting looking partners, including Polkadot. This is the count of their monthly active tiles, which I'm guessing are his 1 million Nodle holders. That might be of their token. Here we go, 600,000 active nodes, which is the smartphone that people are using as nodes. I thought this was actually very interesting here. They have other products down here. Now, this is the one we're looking at, the Nodle app. Earn crypto while securely powering the decentralized network of the future with just your phone. Let me explain in layman terms what that means. Everyone downloads the Nodle app, turns on their Bluetooth, and all these apps can connect and integrate with one another, creating this network, which people are then going to be paying to be able to use, whether that's location information. I don't know if they're using your data or not. I haven't looked that far into it, which I probably should have making a video on it, but you can apparently get paid. How much I'm going to show you in a second, but I thought this was actually very interesting. They also have a product called Click App, which is fighting misinformation with digital trust. Record the world and sign your photos or videos to a digital trust network, which is if you've got AI and all of a sudden someone can make it look like you're saying something, someone could make a video of me promoting a product and I have nothing that I could possibly do with it. Something like Click App will use my digital signature, which I have to physically or digitally sign to tell people to verify that it's actually my photo, actually my video that I'm standing behind. This is going to get more and more used as we go into the future. Now, coming back to Finish's thread here, If you do go down to the comments, there's a lot of skeptical people on this Nodle. They're saying that there's no way you could possibly make $100 a day. This guy here, Preacher Hetopia, said, I did the math and collect 10 Nodles a day. Price per Nodle is 0.009, so it is 9 cents a day or $2.70 a month. And everybody seems to agree. And normally, you know, if you're like, oh, that's probably a mistake, let's see what Phineas replied to him. You click on it. There is no reply. It's a little bit telling that I think maybe that $100 number was just pulled out of thin air. Now, they're the two free ones that he said to get started with. But once you've got some money, or if you have some money to start, there's some interesting projects that have a little bit of an upfront investment. The first is Hivemapper, which is honey. And Hivemapper is a project that incentivizes users to map roads with in-car cameras. So someone like Google, who probably paid billions of dollars to go and get all the data for street maps, you saw the Google cars driving around the roads, Hivemapper is trying to do that because they say only 25% of global roads are actually already mapped. And instead of Google paying their employees or hiring people to do it, this is a decentralized version where you just put a camera on your car, which costs $469 or $569, depending if you want Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi and cellular, and you mount it into your car, and now you're getting paid for the roads, I believe, that are unmapped. Now, Hivemapper's website does look really professional. It's very interesting. They say they do 24-hour recording, passive mapping, so you can do it with Wi-Fi or LTE. Professional grade GPS are great, and then AI event detections, which is very interesting. You can pre-order the new camera, and then got the frequently asked questions here. They don't tell you exactly how much money you can make. I don't know if that 1,000 is grounded in anything. I'd be skeptical, but you know, if you have an investment of $600, even if it paid you $100 a month, you can make your money back in 6 months and then just being paid $100 a month. And it's also the cool thing with this too is there could be upside, like in STEPN or like in any of the other apps that were in the bull run of last market. These tokens could really 5x, 10x, and no one could blink an eye. And all of a sudden, what was $1,000 a month might be $10,000 a month. It's very possible. My personal thoughts is they won't all do this, but if you participate in a few of these, maybe 1 or 2 will do this and make a lot of money. But also, you get to participate in this Web3 revolution. You get to learn more about it, and maybe even think about launching your own project or being ahead of the next projects that are coming out that you can get in way earlier. Then he talks about Hivemapper, which I won't talk too much about this. This was a big one in the last bull market where basically they're going to be paying you mobile tokens for sharing your phone usage, your location info, similar to TikTok and Instagram is what they're saying, which it seems a bit scary, but they are going to be paying you that. And then Solana Mobile. Now, this is an interesting one because Solana sold their first batch of their smartphones. They sold them in obviously in Sol tokens. So it's like 3 or 4 Sol. I forget exactly how much, which sounds cheap for a phone because you're paying with crypto. And it's like, wow, only 0.2 Ethereum for a phone. That sounds crazy. You get something physical when you pay 3 Ethereum for a JPEG. It was a sort of a revolutionary switch back to the physical world. But what actually happened is people like Jupiter Exchange, Phantom, Backpack, a few other projects were like, well, we're launching on Solana. We should airdrop our tokens to people who hold Solana mobiles, and they made way more money than they paid in the phone. And now the second batch, which are shipping in 2025 of Solana phones, are available for purchase. And we got the early adopter window. They're $500. And Finish is saying that if you spend $500 on this second phase of phones that are going out, and you get just a couple or a few airdrops that are worth a couple $1,000, it's a pretty high ROI, especially because you could sell the handset at the same time, which could be intriguing. For me, once again, I will probably get this phone only because I want the experience of what's going on in the Web3 world. I want to be on the cutting edge of tech, but I do want to be keeping my mind up to date with everything that's going on in this market. So my overall thoughts on this, $200 a day, it's a little high. I think you're probably going to be closer to about $20 a day, but the token inflation should come. If you enjoy the experience, come and do this. The grass one would probably be the one I recommend that you come and start it with, because you can start with absolutely $0. And let me know how much you start earning, because you should be able to start earning today.